Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you my reading goals for 2021 and also to reflect on my reading goals for this past year to kind of see how I did, where I can do better, where I excelled, and all that stuff. This is one of my favorite videos to make because I'm a planner just by heart, and so anytime I get to like plan things or make lists or things like that, it's my jam. Okay, so let's dive right in to reflecting on my reading goals from 2020, and then I think what I'll do is kind of intersperse my 2021 goals. I think that's how I'm gonna do this. So the first goal I had for 2020 was to read 60 books, and as of today, if I finish the book I'm currently reading, which I should, because I only have about 100 pages left and there's still like a week left in the year, I will have read 94 books. So I smashed that goal, that's fine. And for 2021, I'm gonna keep that goal the same. I'm going to read 60 books, or plan to read 60 books, because that's about, 5 books a month, which is very doable for me, and I don't feel like the pressure. So yeah, totally made that goal, and I'm gonna keep it the same for 2021. In 2020, I wanted to read 3 classics. Sorry if I'm looking down, I have my lists right here. And in 2020, I actually did read 4 classics. I read The Turn of the Screw, The Yellow Wallpaper, The Awakening, and Call of the Wild, which was a reread. So I read 3 new to me classics. And so yeah, I made that goal. I have to say that the classics I read, 2 of them I did not enjoy very much at all. The Turn of the Screw and The Awakening were not good ones for me. But I do want to continue to push myself to read more classics. There are so many out there that I haven't read. So I'm going to keep that goal the same, to read 3, but hopefully read more than 3. I also made a goal in 2020 to read 5 Stephen King books because I'm trying to get through his catalog, bibliography, I don't know what you call that. Yeah. Anyway, I want to get through his books, get caught up. And so to do that, I need to read a lot more during the year. Unfortunately, I didn't quite make that one. I only read 4 Stephen King books in 2020. I read, let's see, The Dark Half. I read 4 Past Midnight. I read Needful Things and If It Bleeds. And they were all good. I enjoyed them all. But yeah, didn't quite make 5. I'm gonna, again, in 2021, keep that goal the same, to read 5 Stephen King books at least, because I need to get through. Right now, I'm in like the early to mid 90s of his catalog, and I probably have about 20 books left that I haven't read yet, because in like the, past probably 10-15 years, I've been reading the books pretty much as they come out. There's been a couple that I've missed of his new releases in recent years, but so I'm kind of caught up with the newer stuff. But yeah, working on the backlog, so I'm gonna try to read 5 Stephen King books in 2021. So I made a goal in 2020 to read more from my shelves, because my physical TBR was in the, I want to say it was in the 80s at the beginning of 2020, and so I wanted to basically like start the year and end the year with the same amount of books on my shelves, and I pretty much did that. Of the 94 books that I read, 83 of them were from my shelves in 2020, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that goal, that I did pretty much stick to what I had on my shelves and didn't go crazy with making my TBR any bigger, so that makes me happy. And again, I want to continue to do that because I do still have probably around 80 books on my TBR, physical TBR, and I don't want it to get much bigger than that, A, because of space, and just because it's easy for a physical TBR to get out of control, as we all know, and I just don't want it to get out of control. So I'm gonna try in 2021, as I buy books, to make sure that I'm reading them hopefully like within the calendar year, is kind of my goal. My book haul revisits have helped with this for me to kind of reflect. I do those where I look back from 2 years ago to see what I have read in the 2 years since I purchased those books, and I've been doing okay with those, pretty good, and I kind of want to keep that going. I want to try my best to read the books as I buy the books. Another goal I had in 2020 was to read at least 3 books from my Kindle, because often forgetting about my Kindle when I was looking at my TBR. I was so focused on the physical books that I forgot how many I had unread on my Kindle, because those Kindle daily deals just really, I can't help it. I need to buy them when they're super cheap, and then they kind of add up, and then I have a bunch of books on my Kindle that I haven't read. So I wanted to focus on reading at least 3 books from my Kindle, and I read 6. Which is awesome, and I definitely want to keep that going. I think what helped me this year with reading more from my Kindle was I got a new Kindle, so it was just more, it was easier to use. My old Kindle was very old, and it was hard to transfer books and things like that, and it was just, the battery wasn't great, all that stuff. So now getting a new Kindle has really helped me want to read more from my Kindle, so I definitely want to keep that going. I have a lot of awesome books on my Kindle that I've gotten as Kindle daily deals or whatever, and I need to read them. Okay, so probably the biggest fail that I had for 2020 was my little jar challenge that I did. I didn't even bring it down, it's up on one of the shelves, but it was a jar, a TBR jar where I put some prompts in and was like, oh, you know, sporadically throughout the year, I will use this jar to kind of pick books from my TBR, and I think I only used it a couple of times, so that was a big fail. I'm gonna keep the jar, but again, it's not gonna be a huge focus this year. There's so many books that I wanna read, where my TBR each month is often pretty full by the time the month starts, that the jar just isn't necessary because there's so many things I want to read that I don't have like that, like, oh, I don't know what to read, let me pull from the jar kind of thing. So again, I'm gonna hold on to it because I did take the time to write the prompts, put them in the jar and all that, but like, I'm not gonna be pulling that out every month and pulling from it or anything like that, because I just don't think it's necessary. I also wanted to read more Goosebumps books in 2020 because I want to reread all of them for nostalgia purposes, and I only ended up reading 3. So yeah, I read Say Cheese and Die, Night of the Living Dummy, and Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. I want to try in 2021 to read at least 5 to get through them, you know. I want to read them, obviously. It's a project that I've been really excited about, and I want to revisit all of them, so I just need to make it a, you know, a mental note to try to read at least 5 this year. So I had a couple of books that I wanted to reread in 2020. The ones I had listed were, I had listed Angela's Ashes, Wuthering Heights, and The Stand, and I ended up only rereading Angela's Ashes, which is fine. I absolutely loved that reread. It was great. So in 2021, I'm going to go ahead and add The Stand to my reread list for 2021. Because I am going to be watching the new adaptation. I've watched the first episode. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Time will tell on that one, but I really want to revisit the book. I really, really do. I always say it's like my favorite Stephen King book, but I haven't read it in a really long time. And I think I need to do a reread of it. So yeah, that is going to be a 2021 goal. Hopefully I'll actually do it this year. And I've also been thinking about rereading 1984 because I haven't read that book. I read it for my senior year. I did like a big book report on it and everything, my senior year of high school. So we're talking that was, you know, 18 years ago. And I feel like it's a book I really should reread as an adult because I think I'm going to see it differently. And just given the way that the world is now, I feel like I'm going to pull a lot more from that book. So hopefully in 2021, I'll give that one a reread too. So in 2020, I started to track my reading more. I got one of these happy planners, and I started to, on a weekly basis, track my page count and what like I was currently reading. So like, just like for an example, I would write like my current reads, my current audiobook. Oh, it's not focusing. Hi. There it goes. Current reads, current audiobook, books I complete that week, and just like, and then down here I would do like a page tracker, and I really, really loved doing that because then by the end of the month I would add them up. So like every month, for example, I would write down how many books I read, my page count, how many audiobooks, there, come on, focus, there you go, and my favorite book of that month. So I really, really enjoyed doing that. So I'm gonna definitely do that again in 2021 with a similar planner because I really like this planner a lot. So I bought one already. This is what she looks like. And it's basically the same exact setup because it just really worked for me in 2020. So I'm going to be doing that again. And then probably one of my biggest goals for 2021 in terms of my reading is I want to be a little more intentional about the types of books I'm reading in terms of diversity. I kind of realized that for as much as I read, I could definitely stand to read more diversely, especially considering that I often say the reason I read is because I want to learn more about the world and about different types of people and places. And I was kind of noticing that I wasn't really broadening my horizons. Genre-wise, yes, but in terms of the types of stories and characters and places, I could definitely stand to be a little bit more intentional about the types of books I read. So to help me with that this year, there are a couple of reading challenges that I want to kind of try to do. I'm not going to do every single challenge because there are 3 reading challenges that I'm looking at and they all have like 20 some prompts. I won't be able to hit all of those, but if I could kind of use those just sort of as a guide to help me to diversify my reading, I find that to be extremely helpful. So the reading challenges I'm going to be doing this year, the first one is the Buzzword Reading Challenge, which is going to be hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. She's kind of changing up her Buzzword Readathon. And the way that she's doing it is every month there is a buzzword. And so you can either do a week-long readathon every month, reading as many of those books, as many books with that word in the title as you can, or you can read one book every month with that word in the title. So that's what I'm going to do. And so, and it's that one more so is helping me to get to some of the physical books I have on my TBR, because for pretty much there was only like 2 or 3 of the 12 that I didn't have a physical book with that word, you know, so it's going to help me get through my physical TBR, which is awesome and which is a goal of mine. So I'm going to be doing that one. And then the 2 that are going to really help me in terms of diversity is the Reading Women Challenge for 2021. There's just a lot of good prompts for that one that I definitely want to try to kind of focus my reading on. And then the other one is the Books in the Freezer Reading Challenge. And that one specifically, I'm hoping will diversify my horror reading, because let's be honest, the horror genre is like dominated by straight white dudes. And you got to dig a little deeper sometimes to find more diverse reads in that genre, and I really want to do that because I know there are a ton of great horror books out there that just don't get as much attention, that are by, you know, own voices or BIPOC authors or, you know, people in the LGBTQ community and things like that. And so I really want to try to find those, you know, little gems out there in the horror genre, and I feel like this reading challenge is definitely going to help me with that. So again, I'm not going to cover every single challenge because that would be crazy, but I'm going to try to get as many in as I can. And then the other thing that I'm going to be doing, again, not every single month, but there were a couple in this that I thought that appealed to me and that I want to try to read that will also help me diversify my reading. And that is a book club that is being started this year by Roxane Gay. And I don't know all the details yet. All I know is that she made an announcement about it and already had all the books chosen for the year. And so I looked at the list and there were probably like 4 or 5 of the books that they seem to appeal to me, and they are all diverse reads, and so I'm really excited about those. So the months that those books obviously come up, I will be doing those. And again, I'm excited about that. I don't, like I said, don't really know any details about the book club, where discussions are going to happen, if they're going to happen, or anything about, like, anything other than that it's Roxane Gay and she already made the list of books, and I was like, okay, sure. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing also to help to kind of broaden my reading horizons. Alright guys, so those are my plans for 2021 and how 2020 went. I think overall, 2020 was a pretty good year. I think I broke my record reading 94 books this year, because I think last year I read 92. So, and also in there too, I didn't mention this in my reading goals, but a couple of those books were pretty chunky books. So that also makes me very happy that I've read a lot, and some of them have even been chunkers. So yeah, so 2020 reading wise was a pretty good year, and hopefully 2021 is going to be even better. I am so excited for 2021 and just kind of having a fresh start, and hopefully for all of us it is a better year. Let me know down below what you are planning. If you make reading goals, let me know what some of them are, or if you're like anti-reading goal, that's okay too. Let me know that. Let me know why you're anti-reading goal, because that's fine. That's totally fine. But otherwise, yeah, let's talk about our plans for the upcoming year down in the comments, because I would love to chat with you guys. And that's all I have for today, guys. So I hope that 2021 treats you well overall, and I will chat with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.